Hi, everyone, and welcome to another beautiful Wednesday. And today we have Wednesday, October 23rd, right? 2024. Oh my goodness, again, we are soon heading to Christmas, to New Year, and to a brand new year, right? But we
Uh-huh.
still have a brand new week ahead, if we count from today, right? You are
Uh-huh.
watching Cosmic Sis-Stars show on Cosmic Guardians with hosts Anne and Corinne, my beautiful co-host here, Corinne Mooney, whom I love from the bottom of my heart. And today we're going to discuss embracing the pulse, the art of heart-centered living.
Oh,
And that
yes.
is actually a great art, to be honest. And we take your questions and we do free mini readings if still advertising that one, right? But no one ever comes along and asks for a reading. But I feel still that's a good thing because we have good things to talk about, right?
They're listening. They're listening, and that to me is the key. Yes.
It's better, way better. Our last show on Cosmic Guardians was with Bob Eden, the Spiritual Mechanics show, on Friday, October 18th in US and Europe, and Saturday, October 19th in Australia. We talked about the first 7 years. And because I had a little bit of a cold, we only did a 30-minute show, but we did it. So you can go back and watch that one if you want.
So
Our last,
excuse me.
we have someone agreeing with us here. That's good.
Yes, we did. We did, and I apologize. She
No problem.
she's usually in her kennel, and she was out. But Roxy, could you just put her in her kennel? And but she needed to voice her opinion.
Yes. So our last show on Cosmic Sisters was last Wednesday, and we talked about from shadows to sunshine, transforming negative thoughts into positive perspectives. That is
Uh-huh.
also a really juicy one, right?
Right.
So if you missed our last show or any of our past episodes, you can catch up to find them, and you can connect with all of us at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. And there's a link in there too. You can now find links to all past shows. So I did that
Fantastic.
today to
Cool.
make it easy for everyone. We always go live at facebook.com/cosmic guardians and youtube.com/at angel place on earth. So I'm done with mine now. Let's dive into today's topic.
Oh wow! And I think this one is going to tantalize the heart. If not, it's going to start making it have a little bit more appreciation. And I mean, we appreciate it that it keeps us alive, but there is so much more to this heart living, and it's amazing. Um,
It
and
is
what I
amazing.
yes, what I've found is that people are trained nowadays to just live in their mind and not depend on the heart, and the concepts of the heart leading you. It seems to be so much about the romance rather than the intuition. And the heart is this beautiful, beautiful space that even has its own brain. The
Yeah, it
heart
has its own brain. Yes.
thinks. Isn't that amazing?
That
Yes,
is amazing. That's stunning. And there's a whole bunch of people actually saying that. And Greg Braden is one of them, right?
yes,
Mm.
yes. They have a whole institute in California, uh, and they bring scientists from all over the world and do all kinds of experiments on uh, how our heart and what we're thinking affects the things around us, affects
Yes.
nature, affects the people that you're with, and affects your decision making. And I wanted to, I have to say this, it's not even even here, but it came about when we were talking. And an example of this is when a person like you lives in the heart center. You respond to things through the heart, not necessarily through your other senses. And I had asked, I had mentioned to you about something that I was thinking about doing. You heard with your heart, and your
Oh,
heart said, "This is the way to express what I'm hearing." And you created this most incredible um, piece of information because you were listening from the heart and you allowed the heart to guide you. It wasn't an intelligent thing. Well, she needs
no.
this for that, da, 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 da. And when you live in the heart center, this is what you're going to start expressing, feeling, you know?
Exactly, and thank you. And you do the same. And I know that you have a lady close to you that also does the same, right?
Oh, yes.
Because when we come from the heart, and I can also mention that if we think about the seven common chakras, there are more chakras than the seven ones, right? But we take them. The
Uh-huh.
heart in the middle is the bridge between the earthly chakras and the the other ones who are reaching higher up, right? It's the
As
bridge.
above, so below.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because my uh, symbol for my business, it I don't know if you can see it here, but it's like this:
Oh,
from above and below, and then here is where it comes together, and then it becomes even more. Yeah, and that was given to me over 50 years ago, and I never really fully understood it until I got a little bit further into my awareness.
Mm.
But being in the heart center is this is your power. This is this is where we hold our compassion, our intuition, um, and listening to your heart will help you resolve conflicts in a way that is going to be amenable to all parties.
yeah.
But it is not chemistry. It's not, oh, he makes my heart beat and all of this, because that's chemical.
Yeah. And you know, that kind of love, romantic love, we have that too, but it's not that love we are talking about today in the heart center because
Not at all.
that love, the romantic part of love, that's when you seek outside of yourself. I mean,
Exactly.
the knight on a white horse coming and saving you, or
Correct.
the princess on a white horse, right?
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
And that's fully different. So our world, first of all, would look very, very different if we would come from the heart instead of only from the mind. But this world teaches us uh, kindness can be seen as weakness.
Exactly.
If you're too kind, I've heard that all my life.
I know.
So I worked on that part very hard on myself, and then I came to a solution, and I said, well, no, I'm not going to let anyone's opinion about that part. I'm not stupid. It's not equal to being weak or stupid or silly or whatever
Uh-uh.
you can hear, right? So, no, I'm going to keep that part because that's me. That's who I am. That's who I want to be, right?
And yes, and there again, we start confusing with what society tells us we ought to be. And the same situation happened with me. I stood up for myself. I wasn't going to be, squashed like okay, well, I'm the good person, and and maybe they had a bad day, and so I always let people have their opinion of me be what I was trying to be. And one day I said, no, that isn't going to work for me. And literally out of the person's mouth was, well, that's not like you. Well, guess what I did? Because I'd been working hard on setting boundaries. I went
Yes.
into the ladies' room and I went, yay! Because I had broken a pattern of just being complacent, thinking that that's how I showed people that I was a kind, good person.
Yes.
And if you love yourself and you set those boundaries, and if you're living from the heart, you're living in connection with your spirit, with your soul.
Yes.
And the soul didn't say, and even in all the good books that I have ever read, it never said, go out and have people step on your face.
Exactly.
It said, go out and with compassion try to resolve a situation. That's what we came here to do. But it didn't say, we will not judge you as a good person unless you are constantly being put down and being the servant and being subservient, you know? So it's a whole big different situation.
Yes, and again, we talked about many different things that we're always coming back to things that are connected because everything is connected.
Everything is
It's
connected.
about it's about self-love. If you love yourself, when you feel secure in yourself, because you can be genuine. It
Uh-huh.
doesn't mean that we can't say everything we want. We can set boundaries, but we don't do it because great part of living with your heart, right? And trying to be your best version and genuine and everything means that you don't drag things to the point when you start screaming because you have undermined yourself, or you know what I mean?
Correct. And and when you're living from the heart and you genuinely have love for yourself and for others, when you need to stand up for yourself, you find a way to do it with integrity. You find a way to do it without having to say, "Oh, you are this, you are that." You say, "I am not able to to live in this situation, and I need to make changes," rather
Yes,
than you. And it's a whole different thing. But when you start listening with your heart, you hear the true essence of what a person is saying. When you see with the heart, you go beyond the image that is put out in front of you. That's why when I tell you my connection with you is I see you,
I know.
but you can't see another person's heart because we keep it closed, we keep that mask on it because of the vulnerability, because we haven't learned how to set our boundaries. So, you know,
Exactly. And I think the most beautiful thing you can is um, you taught me that thing. I see you. I appreciate you. I honor you. I love you. Because that
uh-huh.
is even more beautiful than to say I love you.
Yes,
Because
because
love has come up kind of with a different meaning, right?
yes, yes, and there have been many times in my journey I've heard people say, "Well, I do that because I love them," and then I say, "Is your version of love that you are supposed to be hurt and always crying and never respected?" This to me doesn't even sound like a human connection. I mean, that's like saying I have a dog, I love it, but I'm going to kick it and I'm going to not feed it and I'm going to tease it. This is not real love. That's the illusion of love. And and then they'll say, well, but I love him enough, and love will change him. Not this
Definitely. No,
superficial stuff. No, because
no,
we can't change anything other than ourselves.
exactly. And everyone can change, but they need to want it for themselves. That is the point, right?
Exactly.
So everyone can do it, but it's a personal thing to do. You have something else that you said here, that love will conquer everything. That is a very well used phrase, right?
Well, it's overused. It's overused. It's a lot of times I'll hear people say that, and they're trying to justify being in, and it usually goes back to a relationship that uh, if I love them enough, they'll change, or if like they're supposed to. This is supposed to come in, and because I'm this wonderful person, they're going to make that difference.
Yeah.
But that's
But
that's the physicality of it.
and
When you
sorry, go ahead. Sorry,
oh
I
no
interrupted you.
no
I
please
get so eager. I get so eager because
talk
living from the heart area, it means also that you can see things. You're not afraid of what you see. You see
exactly.
more clearly, and
Yes,
you can see that, okay, staying in this relationship where I expect someone to change, that's not going to happen. It's not going to
no,
be. Why do I feel that way, right? Because if I love myself, I'm not afraid. I know that I'm going to cope fine. I don't have to cling on to someone, right? So
correct.
that gives me freedom, and it gives the other person freedom.
But this isn't going to happen until you start being authentic. And and when we are authentic and we have and coming from the heart center, we connect to a higher wisdom and our intuition. And these are going to guide us much more than that. Society says that if you're in this situation, you have to do this, this, and this, and this in order to be a good this, and this. Well, they don't see both sides, and if it's an abusive situation or even a captive type thing, and this is what happens is uh, they will convince that person that even though that you're having pain, that that's love and that's the way I show it and that's the only way I'm going to do it. So that's what you get, and so we assume that that's what it is. And
Exactly.
love when you are in your heart center, it wants to celebrate life. It wants to celebrate joy. It wants to celebrate beauty. It wants to share. It's not about taking away from something. And it's amazing. We have this beautiful gift that we're given, and just being able to thrive
Y-
in it.
yes, and the love we talk about is unconditional, meaning no expectations, um, no presumptions or assumptions, right?
Yes,
So we see, and having that stability within you, that takes away fear. Isn't that
yes.
beautiful?
And Saint Francis, that beautiful poem that he wrote, love is kind, love is compassion. I wish I had written it down because I when I was doing this I had forgotten about it. But it is not pain, it is not suffering, it is not uh, degradation of another person. It is uplifting. It is freeing. And this is when we start understanding that, especially when we're in a relationship, it's not that they have to be perfect or we have to be perfect. It is that what we're calling that connection, that word love,
Yeah,
does it mean what does it mean to you and what does it mean to me? And
exactly. Plus, can I chime in? Love
no,
never
no,
hurts.
no, I'm going to just keep talking. No, please.
True love never hurts.
No, true love never
No,
hurts.
and never um, diminishes anyone.
Nope.
No, no.
Uplifts, supports, encourages. And if you are in a truly loving relationship, we all are going to grow. And the thing is that that person allows you to grow, and then they grow and they grow. And they don't have to grow apart if they have that respect for each other. And then you may go off and you may be planting flowers, and then maybe your partner wants to paint pictures, and then all of a sudden you see that the flowers that you've grown, they can make a beautiful picture of it. So this is called cooperation. This is called entwining. This is called support. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And talking about relationships again, I think there's a presumption that even if people state that they are not thinking that romantic love and relationships are supposed to be like in the movies,
Uh-huh.
but that still is kind of the stage many times, right?
Oh,
So
big time.
yeah, big time. And that never happens. That's not how it works.
No.
Plus, all relationships, specifically if you have been with each other for a certain amount of time, right? For a long time, you need to nurture the relationship, taking care of each other, not
Yep.
forgetting about each other because children are coming or whatever other reason there is, right? So,
And
yes,
yeah,
please go ahead.
but it somehow people think that when the ring goes on the finger, that the work is done.
Oh, that's
that's
when it
when it
starts.
that's when it starts, because um, we do all of these incredible magical things to attract the person, and it is wonderful. That's why they call it the honeymoon stage. But then when you are, the toothpaste is left off, the seat is left up, the dinner hasn't been done, the hair doesn't look beautiful. Okay, this is living, but finding in your relationship, always making sure that you take that that one time where basically you can call it, date time. Okay, good. Thank you. Keep that. I'll look at that. My associate here has found the poem. Love is courageous, love is kind, and the point is that just putting effort into it. You don't plant a garden and leave it. You have to water it. You have to weed it. You have to admire it, and it doesn't stop when you put that ring on, folks. That's why it's such a delusion. All of the thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for these big weddings, and then 3 months later, it's all over. you know?
Yeah, I know. And that's because it's not what you do the outside. If you want to do a big wedding, yeah, go ahead and do it. But know that um, it is like most people, when they express what they want, right? They want to find a partner, a companion, life companion,
Uh-huh.
someone who is going to hold their hand being beside them.
Right.
Some people may come to the place when they want someone to save them, and that's not going to happen either because you are to cooperate with each other and to build what you're going to live through, right? So
Uh-huh.
that's different. But I think that um, when we are thinking, I want this specific person, why do I want that specific person? Sometimes, even though we may have the strongest connection with someone, doesn't mean we always end up in a relationship, romantic relationship with
Right.
them. And I call everything soul connections because that is kind of something many talks about today. I choose soul connections because it's about having a connection, soul and soul, but we
Uh-huh.
have different energy. That's
Yes.
all it is. A
Yes.
different energy exchange and bonds with each other,
Uh-huh.
stemming from many different lifetimes together and things of that nature. But many people state that if I can't have this specific person, my life is not worthwhile living. And
Yes.
that is the shame, right?
And that's because they're living externally.
Yeah.
They're not loving themselves enough to live from their heart space and realize that if someone wants to be in my heart space with me and share my heart space, I need to know that they've done their homework, that they also are living in their heart space. And it goes back to so many other things that we've said, that how do you reconnect to this? Through self-love and authenticity, through self-truth and wisdom and honesty, and embracing our shadows and learning from them,
Yeah.
through self-action, caring enough to care for ourselves with love. And
Yeah.
I have to give you kudos, because you loved yourself enough to patiently wait until that beautiful leg of yours got to be where you could put a little bit more weight on it. And it was not easy, but
No.
you knew that if I love myself, and if I'm going to be of service to humanity, I need to take this time to love myself. And
Yeah, exactly.
I
And
I applaud
so
you.
thank you. And yeah, it has been 3 months, challenging to be honest, but at the
Yes,
same time, um, it is very handy to be, you say tenacious, I say stubborn. And this is one occasion to be stubborn when
yes,
it comes to, okay, because life happens sometimes, right? And this happened. I broke my leg, and we can't really reverse that. We can't change that. So how am
no,
I going to cope with this? How am I going to progress forward for myself? In the beginning, yes, let's be honest. I said to everyone, I'm going to be here for a few days at the hospital, and then I come out, and everything is going to be fine. But
yes,
but that is a part of my personality too, and I didn't realize really. I think we put on blind sometimes. We don't want to see or acknowledge that this is worse maybe than I've been thinking, right? But at the same time, maybe we need to be in that state so we can overcome a few things
exactly.
in the beginning so that we can progress.
And each time that you made an adjustment and you realized that uh, this was going to shift a little bit, and instead of going, well, but I did, and fighting it, you went with the flow, and you, each time that we came up against something that needed to be shifted, we go, okay, how do we shift it? And this is living in the heart, not the head.
Yes.
Because the head would say, BS with this, I'm going to do that and everything else. And the heart said, this beautiful body of yours needs to have this time to make adjustments. And
Mm.
and when you start living in the heart, and when you really start getting connected, it brings a fulfillment that is so greater that you can't even imagine. It's like if you've never ridden in a limo and you don't have that experience. And then if you ride a limo, you go, oh, wow, this is what it feels like. But when you start allowing yourself to live within your heart and start getting comfortable with allowing that intuition and that wisdom to start guiding you from there, and hearing and seeing with your heart, bless you,
Yes.
you begin to have a whole different view of life. You see life in such a beautiful way. You see things that you never saw before, uh, and all of the superficial stuff is just superficial. Excuse me. Little.
Exactly. And plus, because our immediate reality, which we experience, is a reflection from our vibration and ourselves, right? So
Yes,
living in the heart area will also affect so many other things around us,
absolutely,
and that is
absolutely.
beautiful. Plus, we can actually vibrate and radiate to others, so we inspire them too, right?
And
That's
that's
different from trying to change someone. We just
exactly,
be
that's
someone
right.
who inspires. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, because that when unconditional love is what guides you, you look for a peaceful place to live, and then you create that peaceful place. When you create that peaceful place, you create a stress-free place to live, and you start you start feeling gratitude, you start feeling compassion, you start feeling empathy, and believe me, this is such a good place, and it is not weakness. We are the
It is,
strongest people in the world because
yes,
we come from that heart-centered place.
yes, exactly. And it gives, having confidence in yourself. That is not having an attitude. It's so
Uh-uh.
different. Um, because if you have an attitude, you feel you are superior,
Yes.
right? But
Yes.
no one is superior um, or more than anyone else, or someone else is less. That's not how it works. But when you come from your heart, you have that um, power within you and that love that you can actually
Yes.
come through things.
It is, and then getting more into the science end of it too. Um, Joe Dispenza has spent his life working on that brain heart connection, and when we're coming from the heart and through meditation and authenticity and the things that we've been talking about, you make that connection to the brain, and the brain goes, wow, we're in sync, we're working together. And when
Yes.
that happens, health is restored. And there again, I like, how I like to play in the science.
Yes.
And he has doctors that come to his conferences, and they take volunteers, and they work with them, and they take measurements, they take brain scans, they see how when that heart mind connection happens, the brain goes into this place of creativity. So if
Yes.
you're going to connect to that divine essence of yourself, your soul, and then you're going to allow it to connect with that vastness of the oneness, unstoppable, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just have to mention, we're going to mention this twice today because you have something you do on a regular basis. I don't know which day you do it, but you do a heart-centered meditation at your
Yes.
healing center in Mesa, Arizona. And you call it open heart meditation.
Yes.
You guide a group into their heart center, right? That's beautiful.
Yes.
So you help them start to connect and to feel the joy, expansion, and everything that comes with that, right?
Correct.
So you said that if anyone in the Phoenix or Mesa area can call you, right?
Yes. And,
Um,
and, and join us. It's on Tuesday evenings at 7 o'clock. And over the years, I had been introduced to a lot of forms of meditation, and most people are familiar with sitting on a mat, very stoic and not moving, and forcing the mind to be quiet. Well, I'm a rebel. And I have these big, beautiful couches, and everybody gets comfortable. Their feet are up. We give them a blankie, and I basically say, I want you to just let go, and I'll do all the heavy lifting. And by letting them find a way into that heart center, and usually we find it on some memory of joy, something that I mean, even a baby's laughter. And then as the heart expands, then we can move into the higher dimensions. And it's interesting because I've been doing this now for about 10 years here. And my neighborhood around me over the last 10 years has shifted. And it wasn't the nice little quiet neighborhood I was in. So it got pretty rowdy and crazy and everything else. When we started doing the meditations, as Greg Braden says, having that open heart will touch 1,000 people, each person that holds that open up. And that's mathematically, he figured that out. So every person that is around here, literally, my neighborhood has changed. It has gotten quiet. I don't hear adults screaming at each other. I don't hear kids crying. And last night, there was a soccer team. I live across from a park, and they were over there. So there were many, many adults and many, many children that were receiving the overflow of the heart connection.
That's
So,
beautiful. So one person can have a positive effect on 1,000 people. So 10
yes,
people, that is 10,000 people.
10,000 people. Yes. And those people don't even know that there's been just a little shift. And maybe the next time they're going to get angry at somebody, they just shift and their words come out peaceful. And then
Yeah,
they change that situation. It's just like these beautiful dominoes. And if you can do it with anger, you can do it with love.
yeah. We have someone here. I don't know if he's still here. He's both on Facebook and is Bob, Mr. Bob. He says, I live in heart space, not head space. Ha ha ha.
Absolutely, Bob. You certainly do. And and he's earned every bit of it. And
Yes,
and the thing is that this is not something that you cannot do. I mean, you have worked your life working out the ways to get into the heart space. I know I have put my time in, and and that's what it takes. But it just takes a willingness.
yeah.
It takes a peace, and yeah,
I think that many, many times, like you said in the beginning for the meditation, we think, and I did this to myself years ago, when we are supposed to not think. So we're trying too hard. We just need to release and let go
just release
and
and let
listen
go.
within. Yeah,
Yeah, and I tell the people, and they look at this and they go, "Yeah, well, I might fall asleep." And I said, "You may think you're falling asleep, but because I'm holding that heart energy open, you're receiving." And and when you force it, it's hard to do. And I had one of my person. She's been coming for 4 years, and each time she comes, she has in her mind, well, I'm going to be sending love to this person. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing that. And her mind is really, really busy. And that's okay because but she's here all the time. She's in this energy. And about a month and a half ago, she said, you know, I finally just let go. And where it took me was awesome. And as I said, I'll do the heavy lifting, folks. I'll buy the tickets. I'll get us to the airport. I'll get you seated in your seats. I'll even carry your luggage for you. All you have to do is show up. And and the amazing things that I've watched people come because they've just been, what do I do with life? What am I going to go? And honest to Pete, after about 3 times coming, I have they'll say, I really didn't know how I was going to change that situation, but it has resolved itself
yeah,
because they changed. They
yeah,
started living in the heart. And
yeah.
I I'm going to do a little pat on my back here. Well, here's my back.
I'm
I
going to do that for you for you.
okay, thank you. I have been doing the open heart meditation for over 20 years. And it wasn't until about 5 years ago that I even heard that about the heart math place and about them doing it. And I was listening to it one time and I'm going, hey, you guys are doing what I've been doing for 20 years. you know? So it kind of was a validation that I'm listening to the universe, to the
Yes,
oneness, and through this picked up what I needed to do for this. But it's
because
beautiful.
when we don't go into our hearts, right, and we live in a heart space, we are more prone to fear, we worry, and what we focus on, we do create more of.
Correct.
And even if we don't want intentionally to create more worry and fear, right? That's exactly what we are doing because we have a hard time getting out from that spiral. Does that make sense?
Yes. And as we were talking last week about the wolves that live within us, the white wolf and the black wolf, whichever one you feed is the one that's going to be, more in your face. And
Yes,
when we feed our fears, when we feed our doubts, when we have the illusion that we're not good enough, or we're trying to be good enough because that person is so bad enough, and it doesn't allow us to really live from the heart. We're living from the perceptions of other people, and
exactly.
we've talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that also reminds me of, the I wouldn't say inability, but because this person treated me so bad and I'm never ever going to forgive. So I'm
Right.
holding on to it.
Yes.
Who is going to suffer from that? It's not going to be the other person. It's going to be me.
That's right.
I'm going to suffer. So forgiveness, it's not about saying it was okay what you did to me. It is releasing and detaching yourself from it and not holding on to the energy. So
Exactly.
you have a chance to get inside of yourself,
Yes.
right?
Exactly. And uh, this is a hard concept for people to really understand because they're so focused on uh, the trauma that they went through, and you want to strike back. You in the time that it was being inflicted on you, you didn't have this the knowledge or how to do it, so you feel that that's going to make it better. And it goes back to so many things that you've seen in movies and so forth about revenge. Revenge is an entity of its own. It keeps going on for generations and generations and generations. Well, 10,000 years ago, you did this to my people, and so we're going to keep this going. It doesn't resolve anything, and it causes the next generation to bring all that into the equation. When you realize that, as you said, all the anger that I feel and all the hate and all the I'm going to get you, that person is living this happy life, and they don't even give us a thought. And
No. And I love what you said about thousands of years. I have a funny story actually. And I think that in essence, my colleague was joking with me. But I had a colleague from Iran, right? And I think everybody knows about the great Alexander, right? And this is
uh-huh,
3,500 years ago. So he's
exactly,
he's very popular in Greece. He's not popular at all in Iran because their version of everything is that he burned down things and he came and he was a savage,
he was a
basically.
conqueror. Yes.
Yeah. But he did bad things. That's what they say. But anyway, so I just said to my colleagues, well, Alexander the Great, and he said to me, you always say things that are going to hurt. And I said, hurt, you know, after 3,500 years? Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. And you see that generationally. You'll see that how a dominating personality, they're going to teach their children to carry on that situation. And I uh, I have gotten even more and more and more respect for the they don't like to be called Native Americans. They are the first people.
Yes.
The uh, the natives that lived here before we came in and took everything away from before we discovered America. I love that. And they have been slaughtered. They have been killed by the hundreds of thousands. They have been, even up until 1950, it was legal to adopt an American Indian for $10 and
Oh
take
my
them away
God.
from their parents, even until that time. And they are now bringing the world together with their prophecies that the when the earth starts dying, when the animals start dying, then the rainbow people will come together, meaning white, black, brown, yellow. All nations will start coming together. They are bringing from the heart, and they have suffered immensely from what was done to them. But instead of saying, well, we're going to hold that grudge and we're going to keep coming after you for 10,000 million years and everything else, it's like we will endure as the prophecy fulfills. They're coming from the heart. And
I
it's,
have the chills when you say that. I have
yes,
goosebumps.
exactly. And I am privileged to have uh, actually seen some of these the markings on the wall. What are they called? Paraglyphs. My translator sits here with me. Thank goodness. I can't speak English, and but nobody sees those without being invited. And I was invited
That's
to come
beautiful.
and see those. And
Of course you were invited because you love walking on two legs, heart-centered living.
well, thank you. I am I am so in love with unconditional love and with creation that yes, I do kind of babble, but just butt right in and
No, you don't. But it's you are a beautiful soul, and you know you are, and I'm happy that you know you are because you deserve. And I think the natives, um, because they come from their heart.
yeah,
Everything, like we said before, everything is not always in our hands to manage because we are so many here, even if it's oneness and connection and everything. There are also a little bit of separation in this world, right?
yes,
But they refuse to come from anything else than their heart.
exactly. And that was a choice that they made, and they they have developed a way of yes, what happened to them was horrific, but instead of just saying, well, now everybody that looks like that, you've got to be angry with them, you got to this, you got to that, you know we will go with the flow, we will forgive, we will never forget, but we will forgive. And and so therefore it's moving in a different way because it is coming from the wisdom of the heart and not the head and the testosterone that says we got to go out and kill everything that doesn't look like us. And it's beautiful to be a part of this transformation. And I get giggly. What can I say? I'm as challenging as life is right now. It's there is so much to know that there is a greater coming, and
Yeah. And we are not, we didn't come here to struggle. We didn't come here to suffer, but the world looks like it does. And we certainly do not have some sort of, there's another something going around that um, everything comes up as a punishment for us to see.
uh-uh,
No, it's not. But
no,
it's coming up because we are stirring around the energies, because there are many people who are changing. And
that's
when you
right,
are changing, you vibrate differently. Therefore, also, you're going to experience something differently, right?
right. You can't make butter until you turn it and turn it and turn it and turn it until it becomes butter. And I'm inviting. We had a wonderful experience. People do not understand that the true light workers out there are really keeping things together, that the stuff that is happening, the changes in the earth, the changes in everything else, would be so much more catastrophic if it weren't for the millions of light workers that were holding the energy. And there again, we had an opportunity where somebody of authority, so to speak, somebody that was known, actually said, okay, everybody, let's do something. And we had that category 5 hurricane that was getting ready to hit Florida right after that category 5 that hit uh, uh, North Carolina. And so there again, Gray Braden
Yes.
and all of his buddies, they said, it's time for us to start asking. So they asked everybody that was a light to really hold the energy, to just shift the anger, just shift it. We didn't want to stop the hurricane because they're important, but take it from not even take it from and put it to something else. Just put peace into it. People in Florida were writing and these are people that were not into our woo-woo world. And they were saying, we felt the energy change. This one woman was standing in the eye of the hurricane and she said, I felt it change. And she says, and I don't believe in this stuff. So holding that energy, we can make a difference, but
Yes.
we have to come from the heart center. And
Exactly.
I've been asking everybody, especially with all of the interesting challenges, is the way I'll put it, that are happening in our world of what people assume is what their world is. And I'm not going to go there because but we're in 2 weeks there's going to be a shift. There's going to be a major shift. Now, I'm not going to go one way or the other or pro or con. I'm just saying that if we all come together and hold the energy, that it will be resolved in a way that is for the best. They don't
Mm.
have to say this one win, that one win, I'm this and I'm that. That brings negativity. But put that we got to put the love around it.
Yes,
So,
exactly. And I'm going to do something, and we could have done this a couple of weeks ago when we had talked about the water crystals and the Masara
Yes.
Emoto, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
if those of you who may not feel that you believe in all these things, there's a minor test one can do. You can do it with yourself, or you can do it with a few friends, right?
Uh-huh.
Have 2 glasses of water. That's very, very simple.
Yep.
And you bless one of them. You put in so much love you can, right?
Right.
Good energy. The other one is going to remain as it is. And then after maybe 5, 10 minutes, you try and you drink a little bit and you feel the difference. So
Correct.
when we're talking about hurricanes and weather and everything, that's one of the elements is water, guys.
Yes.
Of
Yes.
course it's going to be affected, right?
That's right.
It's so
And
important.
and we are at birth we're 90% water, and then as we get a little older we dry up a little bit, but but we still water is what keep the fluidity in our body is what keeps us alive. The water on our earth is what keeps us alive. And there again, as we said a couple of weeks ago, water has an intelligence. Water is the only element on the face of the earth that the scientists do not understand. So, wow, if we've got something that is here to really help us, then let us do, instead of putting in the, oh, I'm going to get revenge for that, I'm never forgive them, I'm never going to do this, instead of putting that energy, it's just as easy. The mouth works just the way, look, it says, that is going to be peaceful. I mean, it works just as easy as,
Exactly. And that is, coming to the place here. We have this moment. We have this moment. This is what we have. The
yes,
present moment. The past is gone. We can invite it, keep dragging it back. And that is what we do when we hold grudges or
that's right.
refusal to release energy. So we don't even know exactly. We can read an energy, we can understand if I continue on this path, the likely outcome for me in the near future is going to be like this, right?
Yes,
But we have the power to make changes. And I can tell you actually, um, coming back to my leg again, um, they didn't really tell me how bad it was. It was a really bad, not only one fracture, it was a few.
yeah,
That
oh
sounds
yes,
that sounds even worse, but
yep,
it was. But
compound.
I kept going, and I heard the doctor yesterday, and she said it was a really. I'm surprised to see that you can move yourself as you do, because I'm not allowed to put full weight on it yet, but I don't have any pain. I can turn I mean, bend my knee and everything, no problem. And she said it's a miracle. Um, and we can all have miracles.
Exactly.
We can all have miracles. Start to believe in miracles. And heart-centered living, healing, and whatever we talk about, or water, or whatever it is, it's not a destination, it's a
Uh-uh.
journey. We
It's the
keep on
journey.
moving on the journey.
Yes, and the benefits are are beyond words. People measure things like, oh, I have this car, I have this jewelry, I have this and everything else. That is, there's no comparison to when you start living from the heart, when you start seeing from the heart, when you start listening with the heart, and when you start connecting, excuse me, even appreciating your nose. We're having a change in weather here, and it when one different kind of desert plant comes up, then I have to honor it with a few little sniffles and snorts. But if you allow yourself
Yeah.
the joy of listening to your heart, first of all, you're going to make decisions with such clarity. You're going to see things so much differently. You're going to have a lot more understanding when you listen from the heart. You're not going to jump into that judgment, or assume that that person is a horrible person or a good person. You're going to allow the energy to teach you, and this is the beauty. I mean, we are gifted with the most incredible abilities. And the reason that everybody is trying to tell us to go to AI and to do something different is because the powers that be are scared to death that humans will reach their true potential.
Yeah, exactly.
And we are just still itty bitty babies. And we have the ability to bring the peace about. We have the ability to heal ourselves. We have the ability to find uh, that one-on-one relationship in a way that it is so divine that it nourishes and it heals, and we are incredible. We
We
really
are,
are.
and we are, and heart-centered living means also that we don't come from the place where we see lack. We
Uh-uh.
come from the other place. We see abundance in
Yes.
everything because abundance is not only money,
Uh-uh.
it's so many other things.
It is that radiant health. It is that joy that we feel when we're with someone else. It is uh, the compassion that we have for all things. And I mean, I'm so pleased that all of these light workers, every place, in every way, are doing their little bit. And you see a change. You see a change when a photographer is taking pictures of one type of an animal helping another type of an animal, or when you see a wild animal that comes up to a human and says, please help me. And then you go and you see the humans helping their young get out of a situation. And the gratitude that that animal has. And we are animals. We forget that we are animals. you know,
We,
we
we
just have
are
we have flexible thumbs. Uh, but we allow this to have be our priority instead of this. So
exactly, and
yes,
it's something we come here with it. We are born with it. We have
yes,
it. So we
yes.
need to just find it.
Yep,
And it's not that hard to find. We don't need to try. We can just be, and we can have someone helping us doing it, right?
exactly. Exactly. And when you have the occasion to actually see somebody that is so pure that they allow you to see them, when you can say to somebody and really mean it, I see you. And by the way, I've been using that expression long before Avatar took it up.
Yeah, exactly.
but that's what they meant. I see your true essence. I see your soul, and you have allowed me that. And when you find people like that, uh, when we have disagreements, you and I, or we not just agree, but we're looking and trying to find a solution. We don't come at each other in anger. We don't come out, well, I'm better, and this has got to be this way. We work together until we resolve, and we come out with something that is 10 times better because we put our love into it. And
I have to do this. I love you.
yeah,
I see you. I have to say I love you. That's me.
yes, well, that's perfect because I understand that word means something to you.
It
And
means something very special. And I see you. I see
yes,
you.
but but this is the way that if people were communicating with each other, there wouldn't be, I have to be right, you have to be wrong. uh, I'm the better person because I'm doing this and you're the lesser person. If it was just all about let us come together and see what we can do.
Exactly. Plus something else that is so very important in our relationship. We are paying attention to what we say. We
Words.
don't come with doomsday predictions for each other.
Nope.
That's not, in my way of seeing things, that's not very good actually, because you put some tension onto someone.
Well, I think both of us kind of practice the four agreements. Be impeccable with your words, always do your best, and each day your best is different. Um,
Exactly.
Never make assumptions, and first of all, and biggest at sometimes, never take anything personally.
Exactly.
When we have a disagreement, I don't take it personally that something's wrong with me, and why is she attacking me? Because I realize that we have so much to contribute to the end product, and I'm not going to waste my time living in all of these delusions. I'm just
Yeah.
going to, let's.
And actually, I just have to mention this before we end, right? Because it's many people take things seriously or personal.
Yeah,
And it's like, a very common thing is, okay, he or she didn't call me for a week.
right.
And they must be angry at me, or they must be tired of me, or there's something wrong with me. No, no,
Because no, because maybe we've got stuff going on that we maybe aren't at liberty to share with you at that time, or maybe it's something so deep and so overwhelming to us that we need to claw our way out, and to just be supportive with that heart-centered love, and just say whatever is going on, I'm going to send this person love. I don't need to know what's going on. I don't need to fix it. I'm just going to hold that space. And we're talking energy, people. Energy. It's it doesn't have to be right in your face. It just has to be the intent. And this is good.
yeah, it's
Wow.
really good.
Whew.
Wow, this was a powerful. It is powerful to live in a heart space.
Yes. And it's beautiful, and it's simplistic, and it can be, wild and crazy and fun, and but don't get the impression that just because you live in this space that everything is just going to fall into your lap. Sometimes you have to do the work. you know
Exactly, exactly, and
and if you're willing
that,
to do the work, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So,
And yeah, do we have anything more to say?
well, always, but I think that we've hit upon a lot of topics, and I think we filled people with a lot of good ideas, and take these to heart, no pun intended, and try them on for size. Work them around, make them be yours. It's not our opinions. It's out there for you, and you can make your own beautiful heart-centered self.
Exactly. We are
Yeah.
all unique and we all have our own way, but sometimes hearing things multiple times in different versions also
Right.
helps a lot.
And the universe seems to be having us do these things in kind of a beautiful rhythmic repetition, repetition. And it's like, oh well, that just fits in with that, and oh well, this one comes, and it's like we have this divine director up there and says, okay, now the trumpets will play, and now the clarinets will play. We're all playing the same song, but now this will play, and it's beautiful.
It it
I
is
get
beautiful.
excited when I see each program, that it just kind of fits all together, and it's making a bigger pie.
It's a huge pie now, but it's beautiful. It's
Yes.
wonderful. And we can always come back to certain things because one can talk about certain things forever, like this topic today,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Uh-huh.
So, yay! Thank you everybody for watching us, Cosmic Sisters, hosts Anne and Corrine, and we have been talking about embracing the pulse, the art of heart-centered living. I'm going to remember now to put up this one. So our next upcoming shows on Cosmic Guardian is going to be Friday, October 18th in US and 18th, no, 25th in US and Europe, and October 26th in Australia. It's going to be the Bob Eden, the Spiritual Mechanics show with host Bob and Ann. And if we are over the top lucky, Corinne will join us, but she can't always do that. But I'm leaving it open. We're going to talk about how I beat depression and your questions as usual, right?
Uh-huh.
And we, Cosmic Sister Show, will be back next Wednesday on October 21st. Uh, no, October 30th in US and Europe, and October 21st in Australia. And we're going to talk about surrender versus release.
Yep.
Mm,
Uh-huh.
always intriguing topics.
Yes.
And this show, Cosmic Sisters, go live every Wednesday in US and Europe, and every Thursday in Australia. So, yay! You can find us at facebook.com/Cosmic Guardians, and you can follow and join Cosmic Guardians group on Facebook at facebook.com/group slash slash
Slash,
Cosmic
slash, slash,
Guardians.
slash.
I can't talk today. So thank you for watching Cosmic Sisters, and see
You.
you soon. See you next week. And I say love, light, peace, and joy.
And I say, from the heart center, I see you, I hear you, I love you, I appreciate you, and I honor the fact that you have seen me. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to do this.
And I can now that I have my hands free. Well, there we go.
Yes.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye bye.